we really want to come in and go, okay, where are you at? What do you need? And then figure out what they need and then figure out how to give it to them within the structure of our different packages that we offer, the things that we do for businesses.
No more burnout, no more fear. We'll build it strong, make it clear. Not just a grind, but a dream that's true. Building a business that works for you.
Welcome to this episode of The Builder's Edge, where we dive deep into mastering the business side of building. I'm your host, Deanna, and today I am thrilled to bring you the insights from 30 years in the building industry alongside Cory Long, who brings a decade of experience in marketing for builders. Cory is known for his distinctive brand and unmatched dedication to giving and sharing. Together, we are on a mission to empower contractors and builders to boost their business using effective strategies and this amazing tool we have for you today, the Builder's Visibility Blueprint. Welcome, Cory.
I'm excited to be here.
Great.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. We get to talk about our stuff and talk about our peeps. Okay, so before we dive into this strategy and this blueprint, could you share a little bit about your background and kind of how you got started in marketing and consulting for builders?
Yeah, so we spent the majority of our career in ministry work. So we did ministry for about 17 years. About 10 years ago, we decided that we wanted to try to figure out a way to do ministry without taking a paycheck. So we moved into a couple of different businesses. We started in some OSHA safety supply stuff that we worked with for a little bit, and then that moved us into how do we market our own company? And through that, we decided that we were going to start a marketing business. And we did that. It was over 10 years ago now in Denton, Texas. So we started that. We've worked with a little bit of everything all over, not just the United States. We've worked with clients around the world. So it's been a lot of fun to be able to market for them, help them, guide them, just help them to grow and really achieve the goals that they have.
Wow, it's exciting. So you say you've even had international builders. So how does that differ? Does that very challenging from, here?
It can be. I'll give you an example. We started working for a fencing company in Australia for a little while. In Texas, where I live, which is not the background that I have right now, but in Texas, the wind blows. And out here, we do a lot of wood fences and privacy fences and that sort of thing. And so I immediately started marketing the same kind of thing in Australia. And we had a builder there, a contractor there that was wanting fencing leads. And so we're here, we are just, we're doing our thing and we start building out ads and doing stuff. And all of a sudden we're like, nothing is clicking. Like we're not getting any leads. And so the guy and I are talking and I'm like, tell me a little bit about like what you guys do and all that. And he goes, well, we build this. Da, da, da. And he got into the fact that glass fencing is like huge there. And I'm like, what is glass fencing? And so we got to talking about it. And anyway, it's a lot bigger market than like wood privacy fencing that we have in Texas. So it can definitely be different depending on where you're at in the world and what is popular there and all of that. So it definitely changes depending on the marketplace and all of that.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean,
I wouldn't have either.
glass fencing it's popular around when you have ocean views and things like that. Yeah. Is it that they use that? Is that what they use it for there? Is mostly for
I guess so. We started promoting glass fencing and then we started promoting like iron fencing and that kind of thing. And all of that kind of took off. So I'm assuming that that's what it's used for is windbreaks and places where, like you say, where they can have an ocean view or whatever view and still be able to block the wind and the weather. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting because here we are throwing everything at it and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So
none of the usual things working.
No.
You didn't have the right product.
Yeah, they don't use typical wood plank fencing like what we do down here. So
okay. So let's discuss this builder's visibility blueprint we have. What exactly is it, and why is it so important to today's builder?
Yeah, so one of the things you got to think about is over the last 4 or 5 years, things have changed pretty rapidly for people. They are moving. People are moving way more online. It's way more comfortable now for somebody to search something. We've had AI now come out in the last year, 2 years, where people are getting way more comfortable searching on AI. There's literally computers and other things that are going to be coming out later this year and into next year that are AI driven now instead of driven by a normal processor with a normal operating system. And so as things shift and as things move, it's going to become more and more important for a builder to be out into the public and for them to have a face and a brand and to be everywhere, not just in one place anymore. When I started this 10 years ago, it was pretty much Google. You would rank on
Yeah.
Google, you would get a Google business profile, you'd set up a little bit of social media, but it was pretty much Google. Everybody just kind of
Yeah.
searched Google. Now you have people that are searching everything from social media to videos. Like YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. People
Wow.
don't think about it, right? And then
Yeah.
AI search, and people are looking, they're doing voice search now and they're asking for, hey, who's, maybe they're looking for a specific kind of builder. Maybe they're looking for a custom home or something that's very unique, like a barn dominium or something that's
Yeah.
just totally unusual, like in a marketplace.
Yeah.
They're going to look at that and search for that differently today than they did 10 years ago. And so I think that's really what it is today is people that are wanting to dominate a market need to realize that it's no longer search engines that you just have to work with, it's search everywhere. You literally have to go blanket everything from AI to social media to videos to websites to getting into local authority sites to blogs to you name it. You need to have market share out there so that your brand shows. And the brand is really where things are moving. So it's
Yeah.
just super important.
Yeah, I think as AI gets out there and the more it's used, the more it will grow. But even when it grows, I see this as if I could, think of the picture in the future, I see as we get to all this automation and all this noise out here, that people are going to be more drawn to that personal touch again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and that's what they're going to find in the brand. And we keep talking about brand, brand, brand. It's nothing fancy like it used to be. It's not having everybody, all your team wears the same t-shirts and they got the nice little, logo on everything. It doesn't mean your logo all over everything. It means who you are and a connection you're making with your clients and the people around you. And that's what I see. AI is important, but until you have that connection, and like you're saying, it has to be all over. It can't just
All
be.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
People are searching too many different places now. I mean, you think about like if I was going to build a custom home right now, let's say, or if I was even looking at like here in Lubbock, there are probably two really big home builders that do a lot of housing developments. I could tell you their names off the top of my head. They're great people. They're big, huge companies. They cover a lot of West Texas. And when you look at those two brands, they are very different. And one of them is the way that they market themselves, the values, the way they build houses, even the price point that they build out, all of that is you can literally drive by their neighborhood and it's their neighborhood because of what they put in the neighborhood and how they build and what they do, right? And so
yeah.
as people are looking, and I was gonna, if I was gonna go search for a custom home builder or whatever in a market, I may look at it all kinds of different ways. I may be asking, Chad about, hey, what's the average square foot price? And, what are the amenities that are really hot in our market right now? And where's the market trending? And like you could go in and ask that. I mean, you think about right now, if you go on Google and you search for a question like that, like what's the average cost per square foot, let's say, to build a home in Lubbock? If I ask that question right now in Google, there's going to be a little AI snippet pop up at the
Mhm.
very top. You
Yes.
can actually get into that snippet. You can actually rank your website or your properties to where you show up in that snippet. Then down below that, you may have some ads or you may not. And then you'll have your Google business profiles, all your local listings, if you actually have enough SEO to trigger that. And the search engine, all the regular SERPs that are down below that, just the normal websites or blogs or videos or whatever. So if you were just to ask that one question, you could literally have Q&A on your Google business listing. You could have videos created about square footage and what the cost is in your local market. You could have different custom homes and layouts and designs and different levels, right? Of all of that for your website, social media, YouTube, AI search material stuff that you need to have, voice search type Q&As or FAQs. There's a lot to it.
Yes, and there's a couple ways for them to even know what people in their communities are asking. There's the Google keywords, it's free, they can
Yep.
do those. And also if they have their Google business profile, they can go to the analytics and it
Yep.
tells them what people searched and found them and just pump that up, like put that on a weightlifting thing and
That's
just put it
right.
out there. Yeah.
One of the
So,
fastest ways for them to see if they want to know what people are searching, search something in your local and then look down below and it'll say suggested searches. And it'll have like 7, 8, 10 different searches that are showing down below there that people have searched that are similar to what you just searched.
yes.
Those are going to be
I've
the
seen.
most popular topics. Or
Okay.
it's gonna ask a question down below it. There's gonna be a little question, probably about 3 or 4, maybe down into it. It'll have a little question there, and it'll say
Okay.
something like, you know, "What is the cost of a square foot, cost to build a home in Lubbock per square foot," or whatever. And then it'll have an answer that comes off of someone's website. Once you open one of those answers, it's gonna start to drop more questions.
Uh-huh.
You can get 15, 20, 50 questions off of just that, and it's stuff specific to Google.
Yeah. And this blueprint that we've given them shows them how to use those too. Everything we're talking about is right here for them to do on their own at home, to their systems. And let's go back real quick just for a second. And you said videos. We're not talking about long videos. We're just
Nope.
talking about a few seconds about it,
Yep.
30 seconds about a video and stuff. So, and you can dump a bunch of those out. You can do a long video and then chop it up into different topics, that you do and you want to put out there. So it's not large stuff, it's just stuff and lots of stuff.
Yeah, it could be even someone going, something that would be kind of simple is going through the process with one of the homes and one of your clients that you're building a home for. And so showing the process of how you went through and you built the home and they decided on what they wanted as far as amenities and what they decided they want the layout to be and the colors and the fixtures and the color, all the stuff, right? The carpet or the flooring or the whatever, right? And you could literally walk somebody through that process. People are very curious about things like that. And like you said, you can cut it up into shorts to be able to use on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, whatever your preference is. I would do everything if you can, right? I would do everything if you can. But that's also something that we do for that you and I do for builders
Absolutely.
is we do that kind of work for them to help them to know, giving them topics and subjects but there's nothing that beats them just getting on live, maybe at one of the custom homes they're building and just showing, hey, here's how we do things differently.
Yes.
That kind of stuff intrigues me. I watch that kind of stuff on, Facebook Reels and Instagram and stuff. So.
Absolutely. And all that home building stuff is interesting to even people that aren't in the market. So you'll get
That's
people
right.
watching it and that'll pump your numbers up and that'll get you right there ranking to the top. Actually, I have a guest that's coming and they even take their builders through like they're builders who take their clients through, the financing process if they need, like they
Nice.
offer everything from start to finish. And that nice, people knowing what to do. You've got your first time home builders. They have no clue. They would love to have a custom home where they go in and everything is like they want it. And so they have no idea where to start and where to go. And lots of questions they're asking out there about that. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we forget is people are curious about, like you just said, they're curious about stuff they don't know about. We've been watching. There's a particular company that does these big, huge barn dominiums. My wife is fascinated by barn dominiums, and so we've been looking at those. And she's been watching certain videos and sending them to me. And they just do walkthroughs of how their barn doors are different than other people's barn doors, and the type of installation and how they lay out the actual design differently, and the different, maybe the types of outside. Some of them do Austin stone's a big thing down in Texas, and they do Austin stone. And so it just kind of depends on but it's neat to see all the different flavors. And
Yeah.
then we watch those that have like the secret doors that go through to the pantry, or,
Oh,
those kind of things are really cool because people, that gives them ideas of things that they could do in their home.
absolutely. And stirs the excitement of wanting a new home and wanting to
It does.
come to you and at least find out and investigate.
It
Okay,
does.
so there's another tool. You talk about, Google, but we have another tool, and it's a free tool that most businesses, most builders out there have, and that's their Google Business Profile. Tell us a little bit more about that powerful tool.
Yeah, so Google Business Profiles, they've changed pretty drastically since I started 10 years ago. Initially, they were just called the Map Pack, or whatever. And there used to be 7 of them. Back when I started, there were 7 different listings that would show in that Map Pack. Now there's only 3. And sometimes Google even play with that and not even show all 3 of them. And so it's very, very important. Half of the businesses in the United States right now do not have a verified Google Business Profile. So that tells you that there's a ton of builders out there right now that aren't even leveraging a tool like you said, totally free. Anybody can set it up. Take you about 30, 45 minutes to really set the thing up. And we give you some instructions of just some basic goodies of how to do that. And Deanna could do an audit to show you this is what it really should look like. But here's the deal, man. Google Business Profiles are critical for any business to get exposure, because Google's going to give preference when you use Google. So when we use Google Business Profiles, we set up a website, we use Google Gmails or other types of properties that are on Google, it just makes more power and more authority. And Google Business Profiles is where people leave reviews. That's where you can do Q&As. You can actually do Google Business posts. You can do even other things like all of your products and services if you wanted to add those to it. That's where people find out about your hours, where you're located. It's just a powerful tool that every single business owner needs to be utilizing.
Yeah, and you spoke about those AI before. Those, putting your services on there, that's
Yep.
where Google will pull those from when they want to
Yep.
give people your information. So, and you can
Yeah.
put a whole paragraph or of, of information for every service that you do offer. And yeah, great tool. I was coming across, and I've seen this multiple times. I'm sure you have when I'm working with clients, but I'll check it, online, and I'll see they have, it's out there. It's a working entity, but they've not even claimed it. They've not even said, "Hey, wait a minute, that's mine. I own that." So that's a very important thing. So even though you're a business owner and you're thinking, well, I don't have one. It may be out there, and
It may be out there.
you may be out there, and you may be getting reviews that you haven't even been, that maybe aren't even your reviews.
Yep.
Maybe they
Yep.
got your name mixed up with somebody else, and they put a bad
We've
review
seen
on
it.
there. Yeah, we multiple times. But the simple thing though, those are the horror stories. Don't want to put fear into anybody. I just want them to understand the importance I need to go, this is a free tool. I need to be using it.
Yeah.
They need to be using it. And this is how I kind of describe it to my clients. You need to be using it really almost like it's a Facebook page.
It is.
Yeah, you're going to be posting photos. Those reels go on.
Google wants to be social.
Oh, I say Google is your narcissistic boyfriend.
Oh, they are.
Girlfriend.
They
They
are.
want all your attention. Look at me, look at me. You're not spending enough time with me. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
they want all the attention. But what's great is when you give it to them, then they kind of pay you back for it.
Yeah, the Google Business Profile, one thing to keep in mind, if you have not claimed it, like what she was just talking about, you cannot put a description. You cannot respond to reviews. You can't add products and services. You have no control over what's happening. And the reality is somebody else could actually, it'd be a little harder nowadays than what it was before, but there's still ways around it. Somebody else could claim your Google Business Profile, and then you not have access to it. And so it's very important to get control of that sooner than later.
Yeah. Find out about that now.
And it's easy process.
It
Easy
is
process.
a very
Literally easy.
Yeah, you go to your Google Map and use your voice on your, phone if you want to, and mention your business and see if it's there and what have you. So a big builder here locally where I'm at now, they're building is a big thing here on Hilton Head Island where I'm at. And I had a local builder that I just knew, I made an assumption that their Google business profile was going to be beautiful. Do you know they didn't have their phone number on it?
Doesn't surprise me at all.
No
Doesn't surprise me
way.
anything anymore. Like I've seen huge company. I had a franchise one time we worked with. I had a buddy that owned the franchise locally, and I'm just looking at stuff, and I looked at his stuff, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna see what a professional franchise would do with their Google business profile. So I look at it, and I get looking at it, and I'm going, wait, there's nothing really on here. And then I click the button, and I'm going, I could actually take control of this thing right now.
Even
And
the
so
franchise didn't even click.
yes. So I'm calling my friend and I'm like, dude, do you not realize you don't even own your Google business profile? And he goes, what are you talking about? And he goes, I don't control any of that. The corporate does. And he immediately called corporate, the marketing department, and said, hey guys, y'all don't even own. And I started going through multiple ones. They didn't own hardly any of them. No
Yeah.
one had ever gone through and actually owned. And so all of those reviews, like you said, just hanging out there, no responses on any of them, no posts, no new pictures, no new videos, no new anything because you can't do it without owning the profile.
And that Google review is a big piece to get in that map pack. That is a
Big.
big chunk right there.
And people believe them. People believe the reviews, whether they're good or bad. People believe the reviews. You need
Yeah.
to have a review process. You need to have some kind of reputation management process in place. We have automation we can set up for that.
Yes, we
But
do.
like you need something that's constant and consistently looking for new reviews for you to get 5 stars.
Yeah, because and I've seen this too, Cory. It's so sad, but I know people get frustrated when they're trying to hire a service or frustrated when they go out to eat and service is bad, but they don't care one bit to give you a 1 star.
Oh, they'll do it every day.
They
Yeah.
will. And
Yeah.
buddy,
And it's the people that don't like you that are going to leave a review way faster than the people that like you.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. And to recuperate from a 1 star is just really
Painful.
difficult. It's painful. It takes forever.
Painful.
So
Yeah.
if you have a system, like if that happens, that can happen to the best of the businesses.
Yep.
And if you have a system where you're sending out automations to ask all your happy customers for these great 5 stars, when that happens, it doesn't knock the feet out from underneath you near as bad. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
we have ways to go out and stack those reviews and get people to respond. Even if you have old clients, Deanna
right.
has a system she could plug in that would reach back out to them and say, hey, if you love the experience working with us, we would love for you to leave a review. You can
Yeah.
always kind of spice that up and give them a little bit of benefit to do that.
Yeah, and it's a great time to say, you could spice it up and say, hey, if you're looking, like, let's say you do several different types of things in your contractor business. You could say, hey, I'm giving some sort of discount to
That's right.
my past customers, or give me a referral. You can ask for a referral at the same time. We do have that system up too. That's part of the back end of our lead management system. Once they're getting on the project and the project's getting going, they ask for a review and then they ask for a referral. I'm surprised about how many builders and contractors aren't asking for those referrals. They're just
They
assuming
don't do it.
they don't.
Business owners don't do it. No one does
That's
it.
true.
Like
That's true.
you've got to really think about the more you can automate things, the better. The more you can take it out of everybody's hands so that it just automatically happens. You already have a process in place. You can tweak it, change it as you need to. Those are systems that we can set up. And I think that's one of the things that makes a huge difference with companies that we work with is once that automation is set up and it's just a stream then. You're not having to work so hard and you don't have to remember it all and remember to text them or email them or call them or whatever it is.
Right.
And then there's something that's just constantly feeding you new business.
constantly. And something that I get all the time, I get, contractors telling me, "Oh, I don't need any more leads. I can't keep up with the ones I got." Well, let's put you a system together to keep up with what you got, because that sounds like
Yeah.
a problem.
Yep.
Not only that, let's fill your pipeline. You have a friend that's just getting started doing what you're doing, and you send those little jobs. Like, let's say you're concrete and somebody needs a patch on a sidewalk. You hand that off to your buddy, and you start growing your business with this building of these leads. Totally
Yeah,
different.
there's always options, there's always a way to leverage the leads, and the more organized you can get and the more clarity you can get and the simpler you can make it, the better.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter what business you're in.
you're buying back your time.
That's right.
Yeah, and if I want for my builders out there, I want them to have a life work balance.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't want this their business owning them. I want them to own
70,
the
80
business.
hour work weeks and craziness and calls from subs and permits and this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're coming into, a newness that our client is wanting, that we're building for or doing a project for. They want a constant communication. They don't want you to just go in, do the job and go out. They want to know what you're working on today, who's
Yeah.
going to be there today, whether the like, they want lots of communication. So,
Yeah, and
you
there's automation that can fill a lot of those gaps.
know,
There's even automation that you can set up to tell people where you're working, what neighborhood you're working in. It can even send out mailers, and there's all kinds of ways you can automate things to make things super simple where you're actually working at.
yes,
It's kind of crazy.
it's kind of great.
Yes.
It's crazy to see how much of it can be automated, but it's really
Yeah.
great. And then a lot of people maybe out there, maybe my listeners are thinking, maybe it's takes the personal touch away. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we don't maybe realize is when we start to work with clients, they do want communication and they do want it regularly. Some of them, like I've got one client that we do rep management for, we do websites for, we do all kinds of stuff for this guy. Um, he really just wants top line stuff. He just I want communication. I want it often, but just give me the big picture. Like give me a couple bullet points, I'm good. Like he doesn't need a whole lot of hand holding. He doesn't want all the detail. He doesn't want all that stuff. So sometimes you do need to make sure that you customize it to the people that you're working with. Some people though, they want to know, hey, today we're at this step in your project or
Yeah,
whatever it may be, and they do want to see that. I
yeah,
also own a service-based business. I own an epoxy company, and
yeah.
when we're doing an epoxy floor, they want to know like how far are we along. We did a 24,000 square foot airplane hangar,
Ooh,
and it was a 9-day project. And I can guarantee you, every day I'm sending updates saying, "Hey, this is how far we got. This is what we're doing. We're grinding this, we're fixing this, we're repairing that, we're cleaning that, I don't know, whatever." And, because of that, not only did we land that floor, but they told us, look, if we do any other work in that area, we're calling you guys because we did such a good job and because we built a
wonderful.
relationship. Just like you said earlier, AI is not going to build a relationship,
It's
but
not.
we can build a relationship. We use AI to fill the gap so that we buy back our time and spend it on things that are important.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's a lot of people have a fear about AI, but I'm just excited about how it's gonna really help. And the main thing is to do lots of jobs that they say, well, it's gonna take a lot of workers out of their, work them right out of a job, but somebody's got to manage them, somebody's got to take care of them, somebody's
Always going to
got
be
to
another
keep
job created.
always another job created, just like back when we used to dig ditches and then all the heavy equipment came around,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's the same thing. And so, but now you don't have to worry, I worry sometimes if maybe I have white lung from all the drywall that I did. Uh, so they don't have to worry about that. You don't have to, I'm sure workers' comp will be cut in half and for your
I would think
business.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some good things too. So, that's how they, can you imagine being able to have separate, you take the core you have and then send them out with these bots to do these jobs, and how you can do more clients and, with about the same team. Talk about the way
Yeah.
these contractors should be, and if we can get them these automated systems like this, so when those bots are ready to come in and take their job and grow, they're already going to have our systems in place ready for that. It's exciting.
So with AI, especially with the way everything is kind of moving, we really have to understand that not only is it going to create new jobs and new opportunities, but it's also going to create things that we haven't even thought about yet. Like there's going to be in the builder world or in whatever world, like you were saying a minute ago, the systems and processes that we can put in place right now, there's going to be gaps to fill that we don't even know what they are yet. But as they come along, the people that are prepared, that are intentionally learning, intentionally getting ahead of the game, setting up their marketing correctly, setting up their automations correctly, setting up their systems correctly, so that they can spend the time over here doing the things that are going to make big shifts in their business. That's going to be super important. If you're having to deal with answering phone calls and sending emails and doing things like that, you're literally burning money. You're burning money right now instead of just using the tools that are already out there and in place.
Absolutely. And if you think that, it's going to take a while for everybody to get up to speed, no, your competitor is going to be right there, ready to do this. You got to be the first on board. You got to be that one that's,
That's who's going to make the most money out of this.
it is. It's who's going to annihilate the competition for sure.
Yep.
Okay. So, is there any other piece to this builder's blueprint that you want to share?
Yeah, I think the biggest things that we have to get into the mindset of I think a lot of builders and just business owners in general, they struggle with how do I get all this done, right? Like this is
Okay,
just a
yeah,
lot. And
yeah,
so I think a lot of as we've talked about today, we've talked about videos and we've talked about social media and we've talked about websites and GBPs and AI
lots of
search and
stuff.
snippets and blogs and like, and
Yeah,
there's 40 other things that we could be doing, from backlinks to PR to putting out um, releases to, whatever. And so I think what you really have to understand, and I think this is where just like we were just talking about a second ago, if I'm doing a task right now that I can go pay somebody else to do for a third of what my income is, or whatever factor that and if you guys haven't read Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, highly suggest you go and read that.
yeah,
It'll help you to identify like what really is the value of the hour that you bring to the table. If you're a builder and you're the guy or you're the gal that goes out and does the thing, the value that you bring to the table is huge. So if you
yeah,
can hand marketing off over here to somebody like Deanna and go, hey, look, you take care of this, I'll go take care of this thing that makes me, 20 million a year. And you're going to
right.
go over here and do this, job that's maybe through 3, 4, 5 grand a month, whatever it is. It just makes sense to buy that time back and to use that time wisely in ways that are going to multiply the income. Otherwise, you literally are burning money as you go. So I would just highly suggest thinking about from the marketing perspective, could you do some of it? Absolutely, you could.
Sure.
Should you do it? Probably not.
Probably not.
Just yeah, because you're literally using your time on things that just aren't going to move the needle like what you
Not.
could do if you were the one that was going out and landing another, $2 or $3 million home, or you're the one that's dealing with this project over here that needs to get completed so that everybody can get paid, or I don't whatever. Like
Right.
those are things that you've got to be doing.
Right. And the one thing that I love and that is kind of different with us is that it's more like a partnership. It's
It
not
is.
It is. It's not like you just, kind of, hire me to do some marketing and then I'll say, see ya. Like, we have quarterly meetings. I find out, where you are in your business, where you want your business to go, so that your marketing aligns with exactly every, quarterly plan you have for your business. And if you don't succeed, then, I feel that I'm not succeeding because I am that partner. And it is a partnership. I don't, try not to take on, because of this partnership, I take on the clients in the community that, I kind of have a soul partnership with certain types within the community, within that niche, because, I'm not, competing them against each other. I just kind of take that, so it's very personal. It's a very good touch. It's a partnership. It's not like just hiring somebody to run some ads. It's hiring somebody to leverage and to send those things. Give me those little tasks and give me those things that take out a lot of time. I can remember way back when I was starting to transition from building into this the business side of it and the digital side of it, and just the terms. Just learning
A
the
whole
terms,
nother language,
a whole
whole
nother
different
language.
language.
So
Yeah.
if
And it's
anybody
a
is, go ahead.
whole different way of thinking about things.
Oh,
It
that's
really is.
explain that a little bit
It's a
more.
whole different, yeah, it's a whole different way of processing information because you think about what we do, most of it is not tangible. I don't
Okay,
send you a website that you could hold in your hands and go show
that's
somebody. Like
true.
that's not like
Yeah.
it's intangible stuff. Whereas a builder, they're building a house or putting a fence in or laying some concrete or
Yeah.
they're putting in fixtures or they're plumbing or they're like they're doing something that's very tangible. And so a lot of times there's this disconnect between really the value and what it does. So I'll give you an example. We had a client one time, they owned a ton of property that was on a lake. I believe it was in like New Hampshire or Connecticut or I don't know, somewhere. And they owned a piece of property. They were doing this building project and they were trying to sell the lots. And
Oh,
so they came to us and they said, "Hey, we want to do this. We're not really sure how to do this." And I was like, "Well, let's figure it out." And so they had created this really high-end, beautiful video explaining, here's where it's at, and here's the amenities, and here's what they're close to, and blah, blah, blah. They knew that their buyers were mostly in Boston and other markets. They were not in the market that they were at.
okay.
These were second homes. These were places that people came
Yeah.
to vacation and do that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so we took the media and the stuff that they had created, we created some ads for them, some Facebook ads for them. And it fascinated me how many leads that we were getting for them and how many of those properties that they sold through just that one marketing strategy. And so it's really about creating something dynamic that serves the purpose of the builder or the contractor, whoever it is. At the same time, it's something that we can leverage online to be able to give them the results that they need, whether it's phone calls, leads, emails, somebody walking in the door, whatever it is. And there's been clients we've had through the years that they're like, "Look, I only need 10 houses a year to build, or I don't know, whatever it is, right?" And you can custom.
Oh, I
Are
lost
we
you
there?
there for a second. Yeah.
Okay.
So you said they only want to build 10 houses.
Yeah, so you can customize. That's the cool part about this. Like if somebody came to you today and said, "Hey, we're either trying to sell off this development or we're building these houses or we just do concrete work or we just do outdoor kitchens or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Whatever, right?
Remodeling, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right? You can customize it to fit what they want and their needs. So if it's something really big and they're looking at they need, thousands of customers a year, great. And if they only need 30 or 40 customers a year, great. You can customize it to kind of fit what they want.
Yes, and that is part of what's nice with our business is it is a conversation, finding where they're at, where they want to be, and we come up with a whole plan on how to get them there.
Yeah,
And
fill the gaps.
fill all the gaps, the whole plan. Exactly. Okay, since you're sharing stories, can you share one of our clients' success stories where we've improved their visibility, significantly impacting their builder's business?
Yeah. Yeah, so we do a lot with a lot of different kinds of companies. So one of the local companies we've had here, actually in Lubbock, we've had them for about 10 years, which is really kind of unheard of in our industry. People don't stay with marketing companies for very long usually. I have a lot of clients that have been with me for 8, 9, 10 years. And this guy came to us. He was a contractor. He wanted to build houses. He wanted to do all kinds of different things. And at the time, he was having to sub out a lot of work. And he was also working as a sub for another contractor in another market because he just didn't have enough business to keep his crews busy. And so he came to us, we got talking, and I said, look, we'll set up properties specifically for the types of calls that you want. And so we set up about 5 different local properties for him. This literally was almost 10 years ago. And I will never forget this. Within just a couple of months, he calls us and says, hey, I'm having to hire an estimator because I can't keep up with all of the business that you guys are sending me. I'm like, great, that's an awesome problem to have. And he goes, yeah, it is, but it's causing a lot of conflict here at the house because he's trying to figure out how to juggle it all. So he had quit his other gigs he was doing, and he just went solely into his own business. Well, you fast forward today, we still are working with the same client, doing the same thing to this day. Um, there are months where we will send him hundreds of leads across all of these properties because it's some of it's very high volume, some of it's low volume. And what he's done, he was really smart about this. When he started, the way he did it was instead of doing all the work himself, he said, you know what, I'm gonna sub out all of these, and then I'm only gonna take this work right now, and I'm just gonna use my crews for this. And then as he built crews, he started to take over more and more work, and then some he still subs out to this day. Over time, he's bought apartment complexes, remodeled them, and he now owns them with investors. He's now done custom home builds. He has a whole office here. His brother started a real estate company so that they can actually work together to sell the houses that they build. This all came from one little simple conversation 10 years ago because he was trying to figure out, how do I keep my staff or my crews busy? How do I keep enough work where I can own my own business and do my own thing? And and to this day, we go to church together. Like he's just a great guy doing really good work. And we've been able to build up these businesses to the point now to where he has a extremely lucrative business doing things. We landed all kinds of craziness. He called one day and said, hey, I just landed all the contracts for AT&T's businesses across Texas. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, I just that they got a call on one of the websites. And then he called and said, hey, I'm now the Dollar General builder across all of these counties. And I'm like, how did you get that? It came in through all of our web properties.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's kind of crazy. He grew from nothing, like just barely scraping by, to now he's got I don't even know what his business is worth at this point. It's tens of millions, with
Wow.
all the investments, the properties, everything else that he's doing, the custom homes he's building.
And
That's
you know that
extremely.
that was a smart way to do it. I thought you were going to say he was going to tell you, "Hey, can you turn some of them off?" But no,
No,
he took it on and he took full responsibility
figured out a way to
and,
do it.
and figured out a way to do it. He leveraged the people around him and he knocked it out of the park. Great.
Yeah, the way he did it, smart. He got an estimator that went and did, and he had to hire multiple ones. And then he hired office staff. And so he got all of this stuff in place up here that's admin. And that way he could push subs and he could keep the
Yeah.
subs busy. So then he's taking a sliver off the top so that he's making money, the subs are making money. And then as he went along, he started to replace the subs with his own crew.
Yeah, that's great. And he could take those and build those crews probably with the crew he had,
Yep.
bringing them in, bringing them along, get that SOP on how he wants those crews to run, and then, build a whole nother crew just right there on the job. Yeah,
Yep.
great advice. Great job. All from 5 little local sites.
5 little local sites that you and I could build and have up and running within 2 or 3 days. Like literally doesn't I it's fascinating to me. He had sat around for years trying to get his contractor business off the ground enough to where he could survive and feed his family. He's got a young family. And so here he's sitting around wondering how to do it. And I'm just sitting here going, give me a
Pick
chance, give me
me,
a
pick
shot,
me.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Once we
I know
started
him.
off with him, and then it was to the races. And he's just one of many. We had a contractor in Austin call us. We've been doing business for a couple of months, and he called me one day and he goes, I used to take long strolls with my dog, and we'd take long lunches, and he loved going to the coast and fishing. I'd go to the coast and fish every weekend. And he said, I don't have time to do any of that stuff now because of you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, my phone will not quit ringing. He said, I
Yeah.
get so many calls that I can't keep up with. And then he started to shift into getting somebody to answer the phones. And nowadays you could even automate a lot of that stuff.
A
So
lot of that.
we didn't even have those tools back when we were working with him. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So they'd have the whole cookie cutter right there, all in one packet.
one ready to go.
Yeah. So you say that you are a type of agency that has people sticking with you a lot longer than the most. Can you enlighten us on why you think that is?
Well, I think part of it is what you said earlier. So most marketing companies, one is when you deal with a lot of the marketing companies out there, there are franchise type marketing companies, right? There are people that are real big into franchise type marketing companies. And I want to say too, I think one thing that you and I specialize in, we can build anything. We can build websites, graphics, we can do logos, we can do all that junk, right? At the same time, our focus isn't on those things. Our focus is bringing business to someone. And so there's
Absolutely. Yeah.
all kinds of different agencies out there. Some of them are fly by night. Some of them are more cookie cutter in how they actually approach the business. We really want to come in and go, okay, where are you at? What do you need? And then figure out what they need, and then figure out how to give it to them within the structure of our different packages that we offer, the things that we do for businesses. But I think a lot of it had to do with I've been in my customers' homes. I've had them invite me to I went out and we had I have all kinds of different customers that we worked with through the years. We had a hunting guide service that one night he calls me and he says, "Hey, you want to come out and we're having a 5-star meal out here. We've got a chef that's going to be cooking kudu steaks and all this stuff." And I'm like, "Sure."
Heck
So
yeah.
like they would invite me to go do things because we get to know them at a personal level. And so
Yeah.
it's not just for us, it's not just business. We want to truly help them to reach their goals and get to know them to a point where um, we pray for their family when they're sick, and we ask about their kids, and we know when things are good and when things are struggling. And they'll call us up and say, hey man, things are not good right now. Is there anything you can do to help boost business or whatever? Because
Yeah.
every business goes through fluctuations. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter how big the business, small every
Yeah.
business does. And so I think it's really just about we do what we say we'll do. We
Yeah.
work really hard to make sure that we communicate well, and we show them what we're doing, and there's transparency the whole time, and we bring results. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you not stay with somebody when they've brought literally created a company out of nothing 10 years ago, and the guy now is running, I'm assuming, just based on everything I know about his assets and everything, he's probably in the tens of millions at this point in yearly revenue.
That's wonderful. Yes. Yeah, it's a partnership.
It is.
It's a caring relationship for sure that's fostered and grows together. So
Yeah.
let's talk about values in business. Your faith in giving and sharing is a key part of your work. So how does this influence your interaction with even your clients?
Yeah, so you know that I wrote a book last year called "To Love Is to Give," and the whole purpose of that book was to kind of share my journey of what does it look like to run a business as a Christian, and what does it look like to not only run a business as a Christian, but to truly hold those values. So I have things that I have done in the past. We've turned down business that didn't line up with our values. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars a month in business that it was not a hard decision. I was
Yeah.
like, nope, does not line up with our values, not the kind of clients that we want, not the kind of people we want, not the kind of stuff that we want to market. So we've intentionally made sure that we run our business in a way to where we want to share the gospel. We want to do different things than what everybody else does. We have a ton of nonprofits that we do pro bono work for. We've drilled wells in Africa. We've done all kinds of things with the revenue that we've created through our business. We've bought a bus for a church. We've done all kinds of crazy things over the years that's all because of the businesses that we have, that's allowed us to do things in a way that kind of sets us apart. And it's not about, like, if you came here to Lubbock and spent a day with me.
Yeah.
Like, we did it at the college ministry group that I'm involved in. We did it at their building. That's how
great.
entrenched I am in ministry work and what we do. Because to me, the business is not about me going and jet setting and big houses and fancy cars. Like, I don't care about any of that junk.
Right.
I want to go be a business in the community that people go, hey, that guy does what he says. He's going to be a man of integrity, takes care of his family. He's involved in his church and community. He gives back, right? I want to be known as those things. And I think that's super important for any business owners to decide, how do I want to be known? When I walk into the room and I maybe it's in a BNI group or in a local chamber group, or maybe it's just among the home builders association or the local realtors, when you're talking to them, like, when you walk in the door, how do you want to be known? And what do you want to be known for?
You're
And
going to
to
be known
me,
for
that's
something.
yeah, you are. Whether you intentionally do it or not, you will be. So what do you want to be known for?
Yeah. Might as well be that that deep faith and that giving heart. So at D&D, we have we have something within D&D Business Systems. We send children to church camp, and that's blessed me more than it probably has the business or the kids. And I have and you said drilling wells in Africa. The Land of Hope is on my heart too. Those children over there are in the back, areas of Africa. They claim that they're witches, and they abuse them, and they banish them from their tribes and their little towns and stuff. And this Land of Hope takes them in and takes care of them. Yeah, you hosted an entire AI training the other day, and
I did.
You did, and you donated it was wonderful. I have implemented so much of that stuff.
Good.
Yeah, so and I am just loving it. Things I didn't even think of with AI that I've applied. But you donated all that to the women's shelter in Missouri.
Yeah, we have Rise Recovery St. Louis. I'm on the board for it. It's one of those ministries that's near and dear to my heart. We started it. So I'm part of the group that started it from the ground up. And this is something we've done almost every year. We've done an event or two. We've given all the proceeds away. None of it stays with us. And to me, it's, we charged a really low price for an amazing training that could have cost $1,000 or more easily.
I mean, you're loaded with guests, and they're
and those guys gave their time for free because they have the same heart that we do. And so they all donated their time, their energy, their resources, and their knowledge. Yeah. And then, man, to be able to give back to Rise Recovery, where these women come that have, they've come out of addiction and they're trying to get their lives back together. It's a year-long program. They get a chance to restart their lives. They get a chance to do a do-over, and they're going to be around ministry, spiritual leaders to where they can see what it should look like, because many of them don't know. No, many of them have families that they've been disconnected from. They have kids that they've lost. And this gives them a chance to get their lives back together and start to learn a skill set and start to feel good about themselves and see that they're worthy and really start to move in a good direction. So yeah, man, I'd love to be a part of all of that kind of stuff. We're talking about doing another one here locally, just to see if we can do something just for, in fact, we're doing a fundraiser in St. Louis area. I think it's in June. We're doing another fundraiser for them that I brought in a illusionist group that that you've seen on some of our stuff, the Night Illusion Group. And they're going to come in and do a show. We're going to have a dinner, and then we're going to do a silent auction. We're just going to raise funds.
That's great. You'll
And
have to invite me. Maybe I'll fly out and
yeah.
fun with it. So, yeah, that a year-long program. So that's not anything cheap
No,
to take these women in for an entire year. And this, that most programs fail because they'll be like a 6-week and 8-week program. Really, you're going to change someone's entire, do a complete, 360 or 180. I mean, and
yeah,
you're not going to do that in a few weeks. So that's great. That's a
no.
year-long program.
Yeah, by the time that somebody stays there for that long, there are things ingrained in them now that their environment, you're starting to make changes, right? When I ran children's homes before, we always talked about however old the kid is, it took usually about that many months to kind of shift the perspective and what they did. So when I ran Carpenter Place in Wichita, Kansas, we had girls that were 11 to 24 years old, and we'd have these young ladies come in off the streets, trafficked, abused, beat up. We'd have others that were um, maybe they went viral because they beat up another kid at school, or like it was crazy stuff. And so these young ladies would come to us. Most of the time they were sweethearts. They were kind, gentle kiddos that just their environment had led them into other stuff. And some of them had had sexual abuse and all kinds of stuff. And I learned really quickly that whatever their age was, the amount of months of their age. So if they were 15, sometimes it took about 15 months for them to kind of unwind and kind of peel the onion layers off to get to the core issues and start to make those shifts and changes. Well, we have women that come into our program that, they may be 30, 40, 50, 60. Some of them are grandmas. And they come into the program and they have been abusing meth or alcohol or whatever it is for years, maybe decades. And they have lost everything. Many of them have lost everything. And so this gives them a chance to kind of to gain it back. So yeah, if you're involved with me in any kind of business, there will be a part of all of the proceeds that all go to something. Like we literally help nonprofits around the world.
That's wonderful.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. When I said Cory had a giving heart, I meant it. Okay. So is there anything that I missed today that you want to add?
No, I think the biggest thing is don't wait. So I think I see business owners that are like, well, I don't know if it's right for me, or I can afford it, or I don't know that I have the time to do it, or whatever. Like, just don't wait. Reach out to Deanna and go, hey, this is what I'm doing. Could you give me an audit, look it over, see what's going on, give me an idea of what I can do, and then you can go from there. And now you have options to be able to make a decision. Otherwise, you're going to just be sitting, waiting, just like the guy 10 years ago. He had gone through 2 or 3 years of trying to get his contractor business off the ground and hadn't been able to get it off the ground. We did it within 2 months. Within 2 months, 2 months, the guy was cruising. And then it was just a matter of building up the business in a way that made sense.
Yeah.
And, you just need partners. You don't need people that are going to come in and treat you like another number or just some, oh, they're just another client of ours, right? No, these are people that I can tell you their names. I can tell you their family. I can,
Right.
they're important to us.
Very
We treat them that way.
Very important to us. Very.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cory. So if you're a builder looking to boost your visibility and attract more high-end leads, be sure to download our Builder's Visibility Blueprint. And additionally, I am offering that free online visibility checkup to assess and improve your current online presence. So don't miss out on this opportunity to transform your business, and check the link below and click this episode, and be sure to schedule your free checkup. And I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of The Builder's Edge. I hope you've found valuable insights that you can apply to your business. So remember, success comes from being visible and credible where your clients are looking on Google.
That's right.
Yeah, so stay committed, use these strategies that we've discussed in this blueprint, and watch your business grow. So until next time, keep building and thriving, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.